Let's get into the weeds on Todd Blanche, because Wednesday and Thursday of this week, unless something changes, and I know there's been discussion, I saw something in the Washington Post this morning about, there's some concern about Senator Graham's demise and what that means to the Senate Judiciary Committee, and then ultimately, if his nomination goes to the floor of the Senate, whether or not Mitch McConnell will come out of his rehab facility or not. And so what at the heart of what this letter is that we all signed, or 1,200 of us or more signed, what is at the crux of your argument, our argument? Tell my listeners, our listeners, what are the top, if this was our David Letterman's top 10 list as to why Todd Blanche should not be confirmed, what's at the top of that list?
The depressing thing is that it's really hard to figure out what is the worst among the parade of horribles. But you could, there's so many things you could point to. You could point to, the fact that he completely botched the Epstein files and the Maxwell interview. You could talk about his complete, sanctioning of the erasure of accountability for January 6th. You could look to the recent, dismissal of the convictions based on seditious conspiracy of Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. Yeah. You could look to all of the vindictive prosecutions and investigations that he's been responsible. You could look to the slush fund that a court today just found to be illegal. You could look to his refusal to open investigations after the Renee Good and Alex Preddy shootings. You could look to DOJ's attacks on the courts and refusal to follow court orders under his leadership. And what the letter really focuses on is his attacks on the workforce, the people who do the work at DOJ, the people who uphold the rule of law and keep our community safe and keep our nation secure are the career employees at the Department of Justice. 99% of DOJ is career employees, and they have been under attack. And it's largely because of Todd Blanche. That alone is disqualifying. So, it's certainly easy to come up with countless reasons to oppose this guy.
It is. It is for sure. We could go another hour on getting in the weeds on every single one of those things you just mentioned. I think, the ones that are making the news now have to do with the DOJ threatening state and county election officials if they don't comply with demands to turn over their voting records. That's outrageous. Ginning up cases. Allowing U.S. attorneys like the one in Los Angeles to say, I'm going to open a case on the California election. I don't have anything yet, but I'm going to open a case on it, and on and on and on. And the Epstein debacle is so blatant. His responses to questions, even responses when he's testifying on the Hill, we've given you everything we're going to give you, it's closed. And then this disingenuous, if anyone has any information, any victims, survivors, our doors are open. They can come to us. That's bullshit. And so, and the victims will tell you that. But you're right, as your organization, to focus on the kind of death by 1,000 cuts that's being experienced within the DOJ career cadre, because that is where our values are upheld despite the changes in political leadership. And then for me personally, also, I think his key conflict, the core of the conflict, is this guy still thinks he's the personal attorney for Donald Trump. He has served as Trump's personal attorney. He has benefited to the tune of millions of dollars. His law firm made $9 million in work on behalf of Trump, Manafort. For those wondering, what exactly did Blanche work on? He worked on the hush money case involving Stormy Daniels, which, by the way, he lost. So there's that.